This is an account of a visit to Sri Rudranath temple of the Pancha Kedar and a stay at the Sangam at Rudraprayag by S. Gopalan and V.C. Ramola in September 2024. Kedarnath is well known all over the world, but it is little known that there are four other temples that form part of the Kedarnath culture. These are called the Pancha Kedars. They are Kedarnath, Tunganath, Rudranath, Madmaheshwar and Kalpeshwar. Legend has it that after the Mahabharata war, the Pandavas wanted to atone for the sin of having killed their cousins, the Kauravas. On the advice of Krishna, they handed over the reins of their kingdom to Parikshit and left in search of Shiva. First they went to Kashi, that is Varanasi, but Shiva did not want to meet them and moved away to the Himalayas. The Pandava brothers followed, and at Gupta Kashi, Bhima, the second of the Pandava brothers, spotted Shiva in the form of a bull grazing nearby. He caught hold of the bull, but it disappeared into the ground, leaving only its hump above the ground. This is Kedarnath, and the linga inside the temple is an oval stone that is buried in the ground. Subsequently, Shiva started to appear in different places. At Tunganath, the arms showed, his face showed in Rudranath. At Madmaheshwar, the stomach region showed, and at Kalpeshwar, the hair showed. Finally, the entire face of Shiva appeared at Pashupatinath in Nepal. Planning an itinerary to visit the 5 Panchakedars using Google Maps produces a deceptively simple itinerary. The entire region between Kedarnath and Badrinath, which also includes the Panchakedars, is a square just 40 kilometers across. Were to see the same thing in Google Earth, that gives you an idea of the terrain and why it is not such a simple journey as we make it out to be. From Sagar village, it's a 14-kilometer very steep climb to the top of the hill, and then a gradually declining path up to Rudranath, which is another 8 kilometers. Altogether it's 22 kilometers, but 22 kilometers is deceptive. The steepness of the climb, walking on boulders, makes it equivalent to at least 3 to 5 times the distance. This journey to Rudranath begins from Sagar village, which is on the Gopeshwar Kedarnath road. At first, it's a very gentle climb, extremely beautiful to look at. There are innumerable tea shops on the road, and life for the villagers is sitting around waiting most of the time. it doesn't seem to be a problem for them. This is the first tea break, 2 kilometers from the starting point, and it has taken us about 2.5 hours to cover. The path begins to climb now, and it's not as smooth as it was until now. Fortunately, you don't have to carry too much water. Cool, fresh spring water is available in abundance, and that really is what sustains you through the. We reached the first bugyal called Pung Bugyal, about 4 kilometers from the starting point. This is a breakfast halt. You can even stay here. There are tents. Bugyal means a meadow, and these are meadows where cows come up to graze during the summer. In winter, all this will be snowbound. You can now see the peak called Panar Bugyal. It's a practically vertical climb from here, and this makes it the toughest part of the journey. And the path continues, becoming steeper and rougher. The path becomes steeper still, and we are close to the end of the tree line. बस बस बहुत लंबा मत करना, भेजने में दिक्कत लगेगी. This is the end of the tree line. There are no trees above this point. a look back at how far we have come. A next break at the point called Morley. Even at this point, there is no place where the path becomes level. It's continuously climbing. No more trees, and now we are reaching the top very soon. This is the last point where you can get tea and water. It's called Liti Bugyal. It's also possible to take a little rest in one of these tents. And you can even stay the night here if you wish. We take rest on the wayside, drink water, and move on. Can't rest too long, won't be able to walk afterwards. Panar Bugyal at the top of the hill. We've reached here in 7 hours. It's 10 kilometers in 7 hours at 3 in the afternoon, and we had left at 5 in the morning. The path after this is not as steep, but it goes on and on and on. Gentle walking, but your legs don't feel that gentleness. Now even that gentleness is a pain. The stick is a great support. Without that, we could not walk. On and on. The views are grand. Range after range unfold before you. This is Pitradhar, the highest point of the walk. The first snow peaks are in sight. The path goes on and on and on. Even Ramolaji is tired. He is a marathon runner, but this time the walk met it. He met his match in the walk. Continues and on. This is Dev Darshani, the first view of the Rudranath temple. A little cluster of buildings, temporary buildings, that is Rudranath. This is Sri Rudranath temple. Can't take photographs inside, so we have to take this photograph from outside. We meet with the Panditji who looks after the temple, have satsang with him for an hour. A view of the sky outside the temple. A room in the temple store is where we stay the night. Early morning view of the range from the temple. 3,454 meters or 10,465 feet is Rudranath, but it's the toughest trek, although it's not the highest. On the way back, the meadows are bright with colors, wildflowers bloom, back to Pitradar, the highest point. From here, it's downhill all the way, and unexpectedly, the descent is far more difficult than coming up because now the legs take the burden. Your pace slows down to even 1 kilometer an hour and half a kilometer. Hot Maggi noodles is a welcome refreshment at the Bugyal. And again, tea and biscuits to sustain you along the way. The descent is steep and our pace has come down to a quarter kilometer in 1 hour. Reach the tree line again, so some shade begins to protect you from the intense sunlight. And I decide to spend the night at Pung Bugyal. I just can't go anymore today. But Ramola ji has to move. He moves on. I sleep in one of the tents overnight. In winter, all these Kedar temples and Badrinath as well move down to another temple. Kedarnath moves to Ukhimat, Madmaheshwar moves to Ukhimat, Tungnath moves to Makkumat, Rudranath moves to Gopeshwar, and Badrinath moves to Joshimat. Only Kalpeshwar is open through the year. So next morning I reach Gopeshwar and stay there for a day. This is the Gopinath temple, the winter home of Sri Rudranath, a very ancient temple in a delightful little town. And then next day reach Rudraprayag, the confluence of the Alakananda and the Mandakini. The Alakananda comes from Badrinath, it's brown in color. The Mandakini comes from Kedarnath, it's dark in color. It's also known as the Kali Ganga. Alakananda comes from Badrinath, the abode of Vishnu. Mandakini comes from Kedarnath, the abode of Shiva. So Shiva joins up with Vishnu here at Kedar. This is a delightful hotel of the Garhwal Mandal Vikas Nigam, the Government Tourism Development Corporation. It's situated bang opposite the Sangam. Every room has a balcony, and you get out of the balcony, and there's the confluence in front of you. 24 by 7, day and night, you can hear the river inside the room. There's nothing much to do in Rudraprayag. Either you sit in the hotel and look at the river, or you go across to the Sangam, which is about a 2-kilometer walk, and there look at the river. But except to sit by the river, listen to the flow of the water and watch those waters, there's nothing else to do in this town. Middle of the night, early morning, you wake up and there's the Sangam, well lit and as audible as ever. Food is no problem. It's the same menu every day, but hot, fresh, tasty, and inexpensive. This meal costs just 100 rupees. Sometimes you see a funeral happening on the opposite bank. People gather, and within about an hour or two, the body is burnt by the side of the river. The embers are pushed into the waters, and everybody goes home. At many places along the Ganga, in Rishikesh, Haridwar, Varanasi, you have a practice of a Ganga Arati, which is done with a lot of show and filmy style. Here, this Panditji was doing the Arti here in 2018 when we came here, and he still continues. It's a very, very simple Arti, and the other unique feature about this Arti is all the visitors are invited to participate. So, we've done 3 of the Pancha Kedars so far. 2 more remain, Madmaheshwar and Kalpeshwar. God willing, we will do it sometime.